Good afternoon everyone, hope you're all well. Thank you for joining me in studio today. My name is Tony Darroch and this is the channel that's going to allow you to get some inspiration for crafty. Anything crafty, you've come to the right place. If you are not a subscriber on our YouTube channel, you need to click that subscribe button and follow us and get all the hints and tips and techniques that you can get every single day. We are here most days, which is incredible. So if you have a little HD button or a little bell that lets you all the notifications when we are live, and the HD button gives you a better viewing experience. So I hope you're all well. The weather's gone really cold, hasn't it? So hi May, Lillian, Kirsty, Linda, Maxine, Phil, Anne, Julie. Lots of you on today, as always, which is appreciated. Thank you so much for coming and joining me in the Stamps by Me studio here in Wakefield. So today we're going to have some fun and we're going to do a mix-up of all the Craft Academy products. So instead of doing them as in 2s and 3s as we have done, we're just going to play across the board now. So if you have those products that you really loved and you're wanting to get more inspiration for them, then I'm going to be trying to mix them with other things as well. So you've got all your lovely stash, which we need to dig out and use because we paid a lot of money for them. So that's what we're going to do. So in today's studio, we're going to be using a stencil and a stamp, and we're going to be doing a non-traditional Christmas card. It's got nothing on it that suggests it's Christmas, but I'm going to make it a Christmas card to show you that, yeah, we do have Christmas products, and yes, we can buy all the fabulous products, but I'm going to use some everyday products that's going to create a non-traditional Christmas card. So if you're wanting something clean and crisp, then this might be where you need to go. So you're going to need a little bit of coloured cardstock, maybe some inks or some embossing powder, and then we're really good to go. So if you want to craft along, you can. Please don't worry if I race ahead, you can click that pause button and you can wait and make me go quiet if you want to with the mute button and catch up. But it's always on YouTube, you can always go back and catch it later, because I appreciate some of you have to work, you know, we have to do these things. So before I get into any demonstrations though, I have a lovely inspirational video for you using the lovely products from the Craft Academy and the design teams makes. Now, as you all know, they work incredibly hard for us here at Stamps by Me, and I really want to showcase their work because it's not all about me. You know, I wouldn't be me without them and vice versa. So here is a little video with some fabulous inspiration for you. Enjoy! So in today's studio, we're going to use these two lovely products. So I have the lovely foliage silhouettes and I have the lovely leaf stencil. Now, we didn't get an opportunity to use the leaves, if you remember last time, so I'm going to use them today, but we are going to use them a little bit differently. Now, I appreciate there are some really talented crafters who visit us here at Stamps by Me studio, but I also appreciate we have newbies who want to learn, want to be the sponge that we all want to be. So if I do show you anything and you're thinking, yes, I've seen it over and over again, maybe you can put your twist on the sort of technique and come up with something a little bit more inspiring, because Or vice versa, if you are a newbie and the techniques are too tough, then it's a little bit, I wouldn't say not fair, but I'm trying to hit everybody, help everybody, should we say, should I word it a little bit better. But as always, if I can't help you or it's something that I'm showing you, as always, the lovely ladies on here, because there are some extremely talented ladies and gents on here who will be able to help you. So if you've got any questions, pop the question in there, and if I can't answer them, then somebody will help you. We are a lovely, lovely family here at Stamps by Me, something I'm super proud of. It hasn't happened overnight. We've been here practically every day, educating, talking to one another, communicating with one another. So, you know, stay together, stay in communication with someone, even if it's not us. So there we go. So I'm just going to show you, we have the lovely foliage silhouette here, which is this one, and we also have that fabulous leaves stencil too. So we're going to use these two today, and we're going to go non-traditional Christmas. Whoop, 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 whoop. Christmas, December, dancing elf. Is there anybody else in the Christmas swing? Did you all watch Claire? An hour ago. She did really well. You know, she's been on TV 2 years now, and you can see she's grown, she's blossoming into this beautiful craft. I'm super proud of her, and when I watch her, I'm like, she's amazing. She's amazing. So let's do one thing very, very quickly that some of you may know about, some of you may not. So our stencils that we use as positive and negatives, I'm going to run through our die cutting machine today, and we're going to get like an embossed background. So something a little bit different, but some of you may be doing this all the time. So let's just grab our plates. So your stencils can act as a sort of embossing fold technique. Obviously you don't get the 3D element of it, but it does impress a pattern into your cardstock. Now, if you sometimes have to shim your machine, and when I say that, add another piece of cardstock to get it to cut, or add another piece of cardstock to get a really good embossed image, then you might want to do that. I'm okay with mine, I don't need to do it, but I know I appreciate some people's machines are, you know, needing that little bit of help these days. So I've got a piece of white cardstock which I've just cut down to a little size, and then I'm just going to put the embossing folder on top like so, and then I'm just going to run it through the machine. And what that's going to allow that stencil to do is push that detail into that piece of cardstock. Let me just move my cup of coffee. We all got a cup of tea and a cup of coffee? Hope so. Hope we're all sat comfy just enjoying the show, because that's what it's about, isn't it? So I'm just running this one through, and hopefully we'll get a beautiful leaf imprint into that piece of white cardstock. Now the things that you can do after you've run it through are your ink blending on top. You can colour, you can paint them up if you want to. But because I'm doing the non-traditional Christmas card, I am going to leave it white. Now I'm hoping you will be able to see this here. So when you tear away your, there we go. Can we see that there? I'll try and hold it up there, see if we can see that lovely white leaf design on there. There we go, you can there we go, if I tilt it under, can we see that design? So not only can you use your stencils, there we go, incredible really, isn't it? Not only can we use your stencils for stenciling, you can use them as an embossed image too. So let's just move this out of the way. Now I am going to leave that one absolutely white because we're going Christmas today. Now I'm going to set that aside. So there are lots of components to this card, and then we'll build them all at the end. So cup of tea, cup of coffee. I've got Tim's cup today, Mr. Cool today. Oh, bless you. Somebody's just had a haircut, lockdown haircut. So I'm just going to grab my Eureka here. Oopsie daisy. So as you can see, I'm just going to open this here. I have some pink cardstock, and I've just popped it in the corner. Now I did a little bit of the work ahead of time today. So what I've got is I've got a piece of, I'll just turn it this way, I've got a piece of light pink cardstock. So this is just cardstock that I've got in my stash. It doesn't have to coordinate, but if you can get 5 colours, then that's brilliant. So we've got a light pink, a darker pink, an aqua blue, a grass green, and a purple lavender colour there. But what I've done is I've heat embossed this image onto these 3 ahead of time. Can we see that there? So the pieces of cardstock are exactly the same size. Okay, so I've heat embossed these 3. So I'm going to heat emboss 2 now live on air so you understand exactly where we're going with this. So pink, blue and green. Now we have done a similar technique to this before in last Craft Academy, but we're going to change it again because I've had another way of twisting it. And this is the great thing about crafting. You know, we come up with these ideas and these techniques, not personally, you get the inspiration from other people, but then you can twist it and make it a little bit more interesting the more that you do it. So I have the pink cardstock and I've popped it in the corner of my Eureka here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat emboss this lovely stamp onto this pink here. So I'm using the anti-static bag and I'm using my sticky ink pad. So you will have a sticky ink pad in your stash. If you do like any of our products or want to buy any of our products, all you need to do is go to our website, Stamps by Me, and pop FBL Facebook Live into the search engine and it brings up all of those products that are new to our website, which are new as Craft Academy or things that we've been using. So go and have a nosy. But as always, don't switch off if you haven't got the product because you know you'll have something in your stash that will work equally as well. So I'm just giving this a good old push down, get that lovely design on there. So I am going to try and do it twice. I like to do it twice so I know I'm going to get that coverage. Oh, people are buying mince pies or making mince pies. Oh, I love a mince pie. So I'll give this another push down. So I'm going to do this on this pink piece cardstock and I'm going to do it on that purple piece too. There we go. So let's just move this out of the way. I'll just grab some white cardstock to catch my embossing powder. So you can see that lovely design's printed on there. And then we'll get our embossing powder. So that's the pink one there, can we see that there? So what we need to do, I'm just going to set this aside and we'll heat set them together. So let's just move this out of the way. And let's do the purple one. So I'm popping it in the same place in my Eureka. Just make sure my mat's in properly. I've seen better days as this mat, about 4 years old. So I'll pop this in the corner and then we'll hold it in place with our magnet and we'll use our anti-static bag again. And the anti-static bags are brilliant because it keeps your artwork really tidy. No fingerprints, no moisture, and the powder doesn't stick all over. So inking this one up. Make sure I get that good impression because on that little pink one there, albeit it looks wet, the embossing powder's not sticking to it and I have a funny feeling that I didn't get the embossing powder on quick enough. The lights in here sometimes can cause me pain. So I'm going to try and be quicker this time. So I'm going to go again. So I'll be quicker this time. I mean, you don't have to be this quick at home, but there we go. And then we have our purple one, but again, it's not sticking there, but I'm okay with it, and you'll see why in a second. So let's just move this out of the way. Keep a tidy station, try to. Let's just move this one out of the way too. So when we used this silhouette one before, if you remember, we used the corner one. It's where I was thinking I was being clever, thinking I could put glitter in embossing and create like a sparkly effect. It's that same stamp set. So we're using the different one today. Right, let's heat set these. So good and hot. We've got our pink one and our purple one. So get it up to temperature, and then less time spent on the card stops that awful cockle wave. So as soon as it's hot enough, I'll show you exactly what it looks like as soon as we've heat set if it's not showing. So I'll just do the purple one. So a super bright white image there. I'll show you the purple because it's a darker one, it looks better. There we go. Can you see how we've missed some of the design on there? Let me just see if I have my trusted embossing pen. So the ways that you can get around this is, please don't bin, I haven't got it with me, but please don't bin thinking, oh, it's not the best impression. Don't bin it. If you've got a embossing pen, just go over the areas, add some white on and fill those spaces in, okay? Don't think, oh, it's pants and I've got to get rid of it, because you truly haven't. So let's just give that a good old brush off there. So let's just show you what's going on. So we've got the pink, the purple, the green, the blue. Now, I have no idea of what colour formation I'm going to go with this, okay? But you can see it looks quite pretty, doesn't it? Now, you know already you're going to be able to make 5 cards if we cut them up. And we are going to cut them up, but we're going to cut them up differently this time. So you can do them in strips, in lines, you can do a die cut through them, you know, to match them up and things like that. But today we're going to do something a little bit different. Just making sure I'm not missing any questions. Right, so I'm just going to take my trimmer here. And first of all, let's create our pretty background. So I'll move those out of the way. So I have a top folding white note card here, and then I have a piece of black, and this is just going to sort of elevate the design a little bit. However, I'm not certain whether this black is going to work. That might get missed out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim our lovely embossed leaf pattern down to go on the front of our card. So let's just take away some of the sides here. Yep, I'm going to leave the black. I am going to leave the black. I just think it's too much for our pretty Christmas card. The black is a little bit underwhelming. So let's take away the black. Let's just straighten the bottom off here. And then we should have our lovely, lovely pattern that's just going to sit lovely on the top of this card. Can we see that there? Yeah, you can see that there. It's really, really lovely, okay? So let's just set that aside. So I've skipped the black part. I'm not impressed with it, so I've removed it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to trim each one, but I'm not going to trim them exactly the same, all different. So I'm just going to pop this pink one in here. I'm just going to take some off the side and some off this side. Now I'm not wanting it to be even, I'm not trying to be anything special or anything like that, okay? So bit off the top. So what we're trying to achieve here is, let's take a little bit more off here, look. So because this pink's got quite a little bit of a mess going on here because I didn't quite catch the end, but can we see here? So I'm going to skip that bit. But this part I'm going to take because I like. So I'm going to take this part of the pink piece here, and then on the edges I'm going to cut a little bit of an angle. One that way. I'm just taking, as you can see, I'm not being careful. It doesn't honestly matter how you do your edges. And we're going to do this. So this is the top part of our design. It's not cut straight. It's not meant to be cut straight. So when you bring it over to your artwork here, we're going to have sort of the top piece of our artwork going on. Then I'm going to take the next shade of pink. I'm just going to cut a little piece of this away. So again, I'm not being precise, just absolutely random. And I'm going to go long on this one. So this is going to be a thin piece. And again, I'm just going to give our edge maybe just a little bit of a quirky edge. And then leave one side flat maybe. Can we see? And then when you come to pop it under your design look, you're probably thinking, well, it don't match. It doesn't match. I don't want it to match. Okay, I'm going to overlap it. Can we see that there? I'll just move my hand so you can see. So we're going to have strips at all different lengths, and some of the colour is going to go under one piece and some's going to go over the top. And then what we'll do is we'll be creative with our foam pads. Does that make sense? Hope this is making sense. Yes. Okay. So that's that one. But again, these can make other cards. So let's just move these to the side. Right, so let's go purple this time. So I'm just going to see whereabouts that design is. And we'll go, we're about there. Shall we go here? And we'll do a fatter piece this time. No measuring. Don't try not to measure, guys. Just absolutely go for it. So, short piece. And we'll have a wonky edge here. So we can see now. So when we come to pop this underneath, now it doesn't match again. But all we're going to do is we're going to lay the component. I mean, I haven't glued this. So we're going to work our way down the card with the different strips and textures. Okay, so the next part we will go blue, and I'm going to go thick on this one. So let's just have a look at where that design finishes. Let's go higher up. So you can see with me cutting it there, look, I can see that I need, the blue is going to come right up underneath that purple. It's too much because it's hiding my purple piece, so I just need to take some more off. And then we'll do a chunky one here. Even chunkier. Shall we go chunkier? Let's just get rid of this out of my guillotine. Like so, and then let's just sort out the edges. Just so they're not your traditional straight. So you can see this part is going to go under here. When we come to make it, it will make sense, I promise you. And then our lovely green part, next one. Now don't be afraid to go back in and add maybe 2 strips of blue or 2 strips of pink, or you know, you can do more than, I'm just doing one of each colour, but you could do 2 of each. Everybody's like, where is this card going? I love it when you all say that, because I have no idea either. I'm not joking. I have a vision. Right, so let's take and then let's go up here, and this time we'll go thinner. And I am going to give it that sort of funny edge, because I think it looks a bit quirkier than. Right. So all of this here can make 4 cards, because you've got all the bits from here to make these cards, okay? So let's be creative. Now this is the fun part. Let's just go back a bit. I know some people don't like to cut on angles, do they, Sue? I totally get it. Some people, it sends their eyes funny. I totally get it. Let's just tidy my station here. So I will use these and put them into more cards for the photograph, hopefully if I've got time after show, because you've got 4 cards in a sense there, and you could just use 2 of the colours, green on top, blue on the bottom. You're making 1 card, you might as well make 3. So let's have a look at what's going on. Where's my green piece gone? I've just popped it over here. There we go. So now's the time to be really creative with our cards. So first of all, let's stick our embossed leaf background on here. Now I'm sticking with the white because it's going to be a Christmas card. So I'll just give that a second to grab. I have a friend who would be very stressed by this card. If you check out my academy, first academy, we did this where we just cut it straight in half. So pretend we had a blue one and a green one, we just cut it in half and made one side blue and one side green. You do not have to do the odgy spodgy technique that I'm doing today. It's just another twist on sort of that piecing together that design. I do expect you to make some cards tonight. Oh, I've been told that, is that no? It's not on the wrong pile, don't say that to me. Now you're all playing with me. Yeah, we're having another box scenario here. So let's be creative with our design. So I'm not going to fix anything in place because I'm going to do some on pads and I'm going to stick some completely flat. So did we go purple next, and then we went blue, and then we went green, didn't we? So let's do pads on the pink. Okay, let me just grab my pads. Now I'm just going to pop the pads at the top because I need to get that other piece underneath. So you can see there. Then our next pink piece, I'm going to go glue. And then I'm going to match that design up, so I'm going to push that underneath until the design matches. Push it over. Does that look like it's matched? There we go. And I'm going to just give that a second to grab, so you can see how we've sort of created that illusion there. So I'll just pop this on. Just give this a second to grab. And then what did we go purple next? Can everybody see where this is going now? Hope so. Did someone mention box? Oh my gosh, I'll go down in history for that, won't I? And then the purple one, shall we go direct on top with the glue, like so? So you can't see much of that pink actually, can you? Shall we take a bit more off? Let's take a little slither off this purple so we can see more of our pink, but you can see where the design is going. Hopefully you get exactly where I'm coming from. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this purple away, because I'm losing half of my pink. So you can be really, really creative. I'm not playing. I am not playing. There we go. So can we see now how we've kept that design and we've kept that pink when we've trimmed off a little bit of that excess? So I'm going to go flat with this one too, because I don't want it like rise and fall, because it's predictable, isn't it? And we don't do predictable. So we'll pop this purple onto here. So we match that design up. So I'll just give that a second to grab. Is it still playing with your eyes, everybody? Just give that a second to grab. And then we have our blue piece. So I'm going to match that design up. And again, I haven't got much of that purple on show, have I? Although it does look pretty, doesn't it? But it's not much. So I'm just going to get rid of a little bit more of the blue. And this one is going to be pads. Just because I don't want to hide all of that purple, because it'd been pointless, wouldn't it, to put that purple on and then lose half of the design. So that's sticking nicely. And then when we take our blue part here, we match that design up. Can we see now how we get, can you see how the pretty picture's coming together with all the different colours? I hope you can see where I'm going. So I'm going to go pads at the top, because I'm going to tuck the green one underneath. I'm just going to grab some more pads. And then we can pop our lovely blue piece on here, match that design up. So we can see already, looks really, really cool. And then our green part, we're going to push underneath and match that design. Keep going until it matches. Can we see there? So I've got our lovely rise and fall design, or could go above. Shall we go above? What do we think? Above or below? Very contemporary. I know, Karen. Non-traditional Christmas card. It's having a Christmas sentiment on this one. Shall we go above? If so, I will pad. I think if we go above, you get to see a better design. You get to see the full design, don't you? Yeah, well, right, let's go above. Above. Everybody say under. Oh gosh, it's too late now. Put the pads on. I tell you what, you do it at home and put it under, yeah, and then show me, and then I'll be able to pinch your idea and twist it into something else, like we do. Above, below. Right. So let's just match this design up here. What do we think so far? It's not finished though. So yes, it's a very, very different card. So what I've done here is I have this stamp set from earlier last year. I won't say old designs because nothing is old. We use them all the time. And what I've done is I've heat embossed the bow here. Now I'm not sure if it's going to work in white. Can we see that here? In white onto a bow there. I'm just going to pop this bow to the base here. So I'm going to pad this one. So in this set, you get this lovely bow on the sort of wire or sort of length there. So you can pop it around a present if you want to. But you get the smaller bow, which can be 3D'd on top of there. But the die actually cuts that out. So it's true to sizes, that one. So it's a great one for presents and things like that as well. And I am going to use Deck the Halls sentiment in there too. Probably a lot of you have got this one. So let's pop this one under here. And I'm just going to pop the bow to the base here. And then I have stamped Deck the Halls on some pink. Now I was going to do it as maybe a little bit of a tag from under here, but we could go here. I'm going to trim it to like a, what do you call it? A flag. I couldn't think of the word. There is a die for this, by the way, to cut it out if you want it straight, but I'm going for a flag sort of shape today. Now, I've still no idea where it's going as of yet, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. So, help me out then, guys, where we're putting it. just keep popping it in everywhere until I decide. What do we think under there, like so? Does that look okay? I'm waiting till somebody tells me where to put it, and then if it looks an absolute mess, that person's getting the blame. Come on, Paul, tell me where to put this sentiment. So I think we should maybe go top. What we're thinking. Yeah, I think we should go there. Very different. Ooh. I'm going to go flat as well. And I'm going to go this side as well. So I'm going to go right to the top. Vertical. Top left. Down left. I've gone top right now. Oh dear. Right, so let's make it a bit more Christmassy. So I have these lovely white sort of sparkles here. So I'm just going to pop some white sparkles onto the artwork itself, different sizes, and I'm going to pop them onto the coloured part. So you can see here now we've got sparkles on there, so I'm going to pop them onto the coloured parts, and I'm also going to pop them onto the white embossed detail on the back, so it's all fits in. Let's just have a look. I don't want it to look like it's got chicken pox. Let's put one there, look. In fact, let's put a smaller one on there to hide that little where we didn't hit with the embossing powder, and we'll put a teeny weeny tiny one on that part there where we didn't quite get that right. So these are super sparkly. I'll hopefully pick it up and you'll be able to see in a second. So I'll just pop one there. Yep, I think that's enough. So let's just show you it stood up. Non-traditional Christmas card. It could have done with actually being a little bit higher, this pink part. We should have started it maybe a little bit higher. Let me just show you from the side. So it does look different, doesn't it? And it is just a take on just another variational way of cutting into those sentiments and those block images that we have. Oh, somebody's saying pop one in the middle of the bow. Yeah, okay. Don't forget, I've done it in white heat embossing. If you'd have done it in gold sparkly embossing, that'd have probably given you that little bit more of a Christmas card because of the gold sparkle on there. So I'm just going to quickly show you just one more thing, if that's okay, with the solid. I'm not going to make a card, but I'm just going to show you another way to use these solid sort of stamps in your stash. I'll post a picture as well after the show. So I'm just going to grab a piece of, if I have, yes I have. I'm going to use watercolour card because it gives, just takes your artwork to that next level if you are trying to achieve watercolour looks. Now if you've got white cardstock in your stash, that'll work equally as well, but I'm just going to try and show you how, when they're solid like this, you can be really, really creative. So I'm just popping this cardstock in here. It is a little bit big. In fact, let's trim it down. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go completely contemporary, because that's what we've just done, right pulled back to traditional, okay? So, and that's what's absolutely great about, you know, being able to stand here and play. You know, stamps and dies are just so versatile, aren't they? So non-one-dimensional anymore. We can get so much now out of our stamps and dies, and I'm absolutely showing you that exactly right now. So I'm just going to grab an ink pad, and I'm just going to go maybe antique linen. So it's a really, really pale colour, so you might not see it if I stamp it, but it's just to give me the silhouette onto this piece of card here. So this looks like it's quite dried out now, but anyway, I'm going to go for it. So I'm just getting this lovely colour on here. Now it's a very, very similar technique to no line watercolouring, where you fill in the spaces with your own colour and the sort of ink pad underneath disappears. But it's a great way to play with colour and understand light and shade as well. So I'm not going to do all of this design, but I am most certainly going to show you how we can get some beautiful Christmas leaves. Can we see that there? Hopefully, yep, you can see it. Brilliant, thank you. So you can see that imprint design on there. So let's just set this up here. Let's just move my set along a little bit, just to give me that little bit of space to show you exactly what I mean. Now you can use any watercolours in your stash. You can use your pencils. And if I had my pencils to hand, I would probably use my pencils just for a change, because I don't want to become stale in my craft. I like to swap out from my pans to my go out. I like to swap out. Let's go with my small himmies here. So I'm just going to grab a size 4 brush, which is the brush size that I like to work with. And it's just a good size brush for predominantly most of our stamps as well. Size 4, you can get in with that detail should you wish. Water, I'm looking for some water and it's right there in front of me. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to paint these leaves in, and what will happen is that sort of ink colour in there will sort of disperse and disappear, and it'll leave us with like a very loose, very realistic watercolour design, and probably most people would not know that there is or was a stamp underneath. So let's get some of this lovely green. I'm just mixing some on my palette here. I'm not going to do it all, but I just want to show you that if you've got any solid stamps, including your lamination stamps as well, I'll mix some of this darker green too. So we've got 2 tones of green there, a light and a dark. So this is the Carter watercolour card I'm using. It's currently out of stock, I believe. However, we have some more due next week. And I'm using it on the smooth side. Now you can use it on both. If you're wanting that true watercolour realistic look and make it look like you haven't used the stamp, use the grainy side because it looks really realistic. That's classed as cold pressed watercolour card. But if you're wanting a smooth, enjoyable sort of ride with your watercolours, then do it on the smooth side. You get 2 totally different looks. Maybe try both and see what you like. Let's have a look. Paula Ramskill, is the Carter smooth or textured? So it's textured on one side, so it's like hot on one side and cold pressed on the other. You've got a texture on one side. I'm using the smoother side of the Carter here, and it's not pure white. It's I wouldn't say it's cream, but it's not white. So it's an off-white, if that makes sense. I hope that's okay, Paula. Yeah, if you show you, in fact, shall I just show you the colour of it against a white piece of card? Then you'll be able to evaluate yourself whether it's something you'll use or not. That's probably the better thing to do, isn't it? Let me just grab a white card blank. I hope that helps. So it's not pure white, but it's not as cream as, I think it's going to be down to the settings on your telly whether you're getting it over across there, but it's not pure white, but it's not cream. I hope that helps, sweetheart. Right, so let's just show you how we can get sort of a very, because this would be brilliant as a Christmas card. Just stamp it out, put the green and the red berries on, stamp a Christmas sentiment, mount it onto a card, put some gold sparkly card behind, and you'll have an instant Christmas card. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this green and I'm just going to follow that leaf design there. So I'm going to colour it all in green. Can we see there? And then I'm just going to take a little bit of that darker green. I'm just going to drop some darker green in too. Not all over, maybe just round the edge, at the base of the leaf. You see that there? Just leave it, just let it work its magic. There are no rules, like so. So let's do the next one. Let's do this one here. Now never do 2 leaves together because of the wet technique. They'll just blend into one another. So I would never start these 2 leaves at the side of this one because they'll all just blend into one. So what I'll do is I'll do this one and then I'll move away and then I'll come back to this one. So I'm covering that whole leaf in the light, and I'm just going to take some of that lovely darker green Now you could make a beautiful like autumn berry bush, you know. The world is your oyster really. Google like bushes and things and what colours they are. So there we go. So let's do another one. Get some more green on there. I might just leave that one that green. Not add any dark to that one. And then pick up some of that darker. Let's mix some more dark. I'm going to stick with it because I have got time to finish it. If nobody's like overly concerned about me just stood painting, I will just try and get as much done as I can. So just dropping that darker colour in. Just push it around a little bit, play with it. And this is the only way you're going to learn and understand how watercolours work and how they settle. By picking up that brush and actually doing it, doing the process of it. So I'm not putting dark in all of them, and I am. And because we're on watercolour card, it's given us the capability to move that colour around, play with it, push it over if I'm not quite happy about it, blend it if I'm not quite happy with how it's landing. So I'll keep going. Karen, you're right, it's like the invisible, isn't it? Invisible ink paper. So keep going. So I'm just going to get this green onto here. So none of our leaves are connected as of yet because we haven't drawn in the stems. So let's just go here. So you can quickly see how we're getting like something that, you know, is not really something you would probably be able to achieve on your own. Like think about your oranges and your reds and your browns for your autumn colours. That would be super cool, wouldn't it? So I'm just dropping some of that darker in there. Not all of them need that dark shade, so, but I'm just using the two colours. If you're a bit more advanced, which I know some of you are because I've seen you work, experiment with the three. Now I can't go in and do these ones yet because they'll all just bleed in. Can you see they're connected? So I need to wait till these ones are dry before I can go and do them, but there is no harm in me painting in the stems. So let's do that. See how we're connecting it? I'm just using the very tip of my brush, and that's why it's really important that when you buy a size 4 brush you get one with a precise point on the end so you can get in with all of those lines and detail and it's not going to be too blocky. So I'm just painting in those lines. Follow that stamp detail. So shall we pop some red berries on here very quickly? So I'm going to go red as in true red berries, and then we'll pop a little bit of black or a little bit of blue on, which will give us the shadow in those berries. So for instance, like here. Now you don't paint two next to each other because they will just blend in to one another. Okay, so stay away from doing connecting ones. Do the ones that are not connected. So this is all sort of one area, so I'm improvising here, I'm sort of creating my own. So before I could actually go in now and fill in all of those spaces with the other buds, I'd have to wait till this is dry, or else you're going to end up with just one big red blob. You must always wait till, like I probably could go in and do that green now. So now I'm going to go in with this green here. And you can see how it's separated it. Let me just make sure my brush is clean, because I'm not just going to take some of that colour out, because I'm not certain that isn't a muddy mess, because I still had some red on my brush. So let's just mix it again. There we go, that's better. So you can see now, because we let that one dry, that one does actually look like it is above that one. Does that make sense? Because we let it dry, it hasn't bled into one. Let's just do this one. It's a good job that other card was a really quick card, isn't it? Because it's allowing us to really show you, just add some more green to this one, how looking at a stamp you would probably be thinking, my gosh, I wouldn't know what to do with it. And some people don't, and that's absolutely fine. Let's just add some more berries in here now. Those ones are, so I'm filling in those spaces. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop a little bit of darker colour in there to bring it all together. So you could drop a navy or a black. Let's pop a bit of black on top, mix it in with your red, and it gives you sort of that burgundy effect. And when you're popping it on, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I'm ruining it. You're not. It'll dry back to pretty much nothing, so don't. So there you have something. Let's just get some splashes on here. So I'm going to pick up some of that green. Get some of that green on there. And a little bit of the red. Tie it together. Right, and then set this aside. Let's quickly dry this off. I would use the heat gun if I was wanting speed, absolutely. You do get a different result if you dry it with your heat gun than you do if you let it dry naturally though. So food for thought is that one. So let's just take this out of here. Let's get rid of that for now. Sorry, let's leave it in. Let's grab our lovely Christmas stamp set. So I've got, let's go Christmas cheer, because I think that's a very traditional sentiment. So Christmas cheer. So these are Christmas cards that don't have all the bells and whistles. Okay, these are very, very simplistic cards. So I'm going to pop Christmas cheer straight through the image here, just at the base. Get rid of that stamp for now. Make sure it's straight. And because I want it to look like it's a watercolour pit masterpiece and not a stamped piece, I'm going to use brown, because it's very in keeping with the traditional, isn't it? So let's just go a brown here. It might take a few times to stamp it. So this looks like a vintagey card, doesn't it? So no sparkle, no sequins. Let's just get this onto a card now. Now I'm totally, absolutely going here to get this done. So let's trim it down. This is going to be a small Christmas card. A bit more. And then let's just grab a craft coloured note card. Let's just trim this down. Now you could put a piece of sparkle behind if you really needed that sparkle, but you would never know that this card had that stamp underneath. There we go. So let's show one scale to the other here. Let's show you this. Let me just give it a good score line. Oops, it's not going to really stand up, I don't think, Tim. No, it's because of my glass mat. But there we go. Merry Christmas, Christmas cheer. Really, really pretty, hey? You know, and you could spend more time than me. I quickly went over that. You know, so if you want to be creative and try all of your card stocks and things like that, then you can absolutely do that. But then again, the stamp, sorry, my fault. The stamp can be so much more than just one-dimensional. So I hope you like that. Something a little bit different. I'm sorry I started rushing towards the end. Running out of time as always, but you know, I would stand here all day, as you all know. So I hope you've had a lovely afternoon with me here in the studio today. I will be back with you tomorrow at 3 o'clock, and we'll do another mix up of our lovely products from Craft Academy and some of our earlier products and some of our older products as well, you know. So be sure to tune in at 3 o'clock, and we will try some different techniques, and hopefully I'll be able to inspire you. So whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening, stay safe, stay cozy as always, get that heating on, and just have a lovely evening, whether it be on your own, creating, inspiring, or with your family, whatever it may be. Have a lovely one. I'll see you all later. Take care everyone. Bye.